Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. A little test to see if the audio is working. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. And a very well welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We are here for round 7 of the GT3 Championship on Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platform. As you may recognise, my name is Andy and I am currently by myself in the commentary box, but we're at a very recognisable circuit here tonight, the legendary Spa-Francorchamps, for what is sure to be a very exciting evening of action. We've got Jonathan Reed, the championship leader in these GT3s, currently sat on provisional pole position. We've got Mimo VIP, who did a very strong lap a couple of weeks ago at Silverstone. We saw him put it on pole before leaving the session before the start. But he managed to put it on pole in the qualifying session, and unfortunately for him couldn't start a race. So maybe, just maybe, we might be seeing Jonathan Reed and Mimo battling this one out. This is going to be a really exciting week to see how Mimo can get on, given the opportunity to actually take this fight to Jonathan Reed. We've got Clegg sat in the pits, the reigning champion of the GT3 division. He's half a second adrift of Jonathan Reed at the moment in this session. You've got SMT Maroon provisionally sat on a second row alongside Clegg. Looks like he's done for the session. He's got the checker flag next to his name, so that means that he is finished. Lightblade currently sat in 5th place at the moment, with Scuderia Paul 6th, Nils Barster in 7th, DDTKU just over 2 seconds off for the pace down in 8th place, and you've got Lord Ash Wilson 9th, Spars 10th, there's Rompu in 11th, Nilsson 12th, Grey Wolf out there at the moment in 13th, Stones Racing 14th, just coming into the bus stop chicane now. SD12 dash in the pits. Let's see what Stones can do here. Actually, he's coming out of the last corner, out to the start finish straight and up towards the line. What can Stones Racing put on the board here? He's up towards the line now. What is it going to be for him? He stays in P14. Doesn't improve for the time being. But Mimo VIP currently sat in 2nd in this session. Can he go pole here in the die, knocking into the session and put Jonathan Reed off of his perch up towards the line? Mimo VIP comes, and he can't, unfortunately for him. Stays in P2, so I think that's that for the session then. It's going to be Jonathan Reed on pole here at Spa for round 7 of the season. The championship leader looking set to extend that gap. Credeo, the reigning champion, look maybe at this stage in the season possibly starting to maybe concede this title. Jonathan Reed has been running away with it in the points as of the last few rounds, and it's looking like we're going to have normal service resumed unless Mimo VIP can take the fight to him and maybe just knock Jonathan off his balance a little bit. Quadair will be hoping that Mimo VIP can do that. SMT Maroon always strong in these GT3s, in 4th place behind these guys. Lightblade competing in the top 5. But here we are then, guys. We're about to go racing here at Spa for round 7 of the season. Let us know in the comments, guys, who your favourite is for this one. Who do you think is going to take the win here tonight? Obviously, Jonathan, as we said before, championship leader by quite some way, so he's got to be the favourite at this early stage in the night. But obviously, Mimo VIP didn't get the chance to show what he could do last time out, and I know for a fact that he's definitely going to be looking to try and rise to the occasion and really give the best account of himself, especially when you consider the fact that he got pole at Silverstone and ended up not being able to take the start. Credeo looks pretty strong here around Spa, but he's about half a second off of the pace, so again he's got work to do. SMT Maroon has always been on the fringes of the front guys, and at Silverstone looked like he was close to the pace of Jonathan. They were really nip and tuck around Silverstone last time out, but Jonathan just had a little bit too much for him. SMT Maroon might be able to give him a really good challenge this time out. He was messaging me in the aftermath at the previous race at Silverstone, and he was saying next time I will get him, next time it will be the win. Whether or not he'll be able to deliver on that promise, we'll have to see. 6/10 off in this qualifying session, but that could all change once we get going for the race. 9 people watching live on YouTube right now, guys. If you like what you see, drop a like on the video. 9 people watching, as we said, so we should be getting 9 likes on this video, guys. Please, if you can, it would mean the absolute world to us. Got some extra HD quality tonight. We got 1080, well not 1080, but it's 720 in 60 FPS. Looks a lot more sharp, much more clean picture on your screens here on the Motive Racing YouTube channel tonight. I've neglected OBS because I find that it renders it down and the quality actually diminishes quite a bit. And to be honest with you, I think the perks of having OBS, it's good in the way that you can have breaks in between. You can, you know, make the stream look very professional and stuff. But honestly, who really cares? At the end of the day, you're here to watch racing, and you're here to watch sim racing, and you're here to watch your mates having a race. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to look professional. It just has to look clean, sharp, and obviously you want to be able to see the action, and you want to be able to see it in crystal clear 60 FPS, as we said. So that's the reason why the picture looks a lot more clear because I'm no longer using OBS. I'm just doing it straight from the PlayStation to the computer, which might disappoint some, but ultimately I feel like it actually looks a little bit better as it is now. As I said, it just looks much cleaner, so that's what we're going with for the time being. I'm still streaming on OBS to Facebook. If you guys are watching on Facebook, then be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com. You can watch the stream live on motiveracing.com, and also that video that you're watching on motiveracing.com is linked to the YouTube channel. So if you're watching on the website, be sure to check out the YouTube channel as well. Drop a subscription, and as we say, drop a like on the video as well, as it really does help us out an enormous amount. We've got just over a minute left to go until the start of the 7th round of the season here for the GT3s at Motive. And once again, I'll implore you guys to let us know in the comments who your money is on. We've got Chris Pissick in the comments here, former racer here at Motive, saying Rompu, DD, Lightblade, let's go, good luck. Absolutely, Chris. Hopefully the Team Run DJC boys can deliver the goods tonight. Chris Pissick did actually win the Porsche Super Cup on a Monday night here a couple of seasons ago at Motive, so he's got past form. He knows what it takes to win a championship. He knows what it takes to stand on the top step multiple times. Raced with us on project cars before he moved over to ACC. Nowadays he's on the PC, so he doesn't get to race with us so much. Maybe at some point in the future we will have leagues on PC. We did try and set up a PC league at one point, but then the guys who set it up ended up leaving the Discord server shortly afterwards. But anyway, enough about that. We're 24 seconds away from the start of the formation lap, and this is going to be an absolute thriller. I can already feel it in the air. There's something in the air about Spa. It always throws up a few thrills and spills. So hopefully we'll be seeing the best of the best, and we'll be seeing the best possible action here tonight. As we say, drop a like on the video, guys. 7 of you watching at the moment. Let's get this video to 7 likes. Get it to 10 likes if we can before the end of the race. And it looks as though Mimo not readied up at the start, so that has pretty much just completely killed off the whole idea of Jonathan and Mimo fighting it out in this race. So Mimo now in the pits, and Jonathan Reed is going to take the start ahead of Cordeo, but that is a real shame there for Mimo. I don't know what's going on. I mean, 1 week he leaves the race before the start, now he's failed to ready up before the start, so I don't know what's going on with him. I really do not. I think he maybe he's messed up a little bit there. But here we are then anyway, guys. We're on the formation lap. So Jonathan Reed leading us around for this one, with Cordeo in second. Maroon up to third place with Mimo VIP's exit there before the start of the formation lap. You got Lightblade in fourth, Scooter Airport fifth, Nils Barcelona up in P6, DDTKU in 7th behind him, with Lord Ash Wilson 8th, Spuzz 9th, Rompu 10th, Nilsson 11th, Grey Wolf 12th, and Stones in 13th spot, ST12-14th, and Mimo VIP will be at the back, will be starting from the pit lane for this race. Obviously no brakes, as we're not running OBS tonight. We're running just on the straight up PlayStation stream, and that's because the image is a lot more cleaner, much more sharper, much better in my opinion. And currently we're getting the best possible view of these cars in 60 FPS in the most maximised quality imaginable, which is always what we want. And the audio is that little bit better as well, which is always a bonus, but obviously not the main thing. The main thing is that you can see the cars and see the action and be able to take in these wonderful GT3 cars driving around such an excellent track as Spa-Francorchamps, or as some call it, Spa-Francorchamps. So there you can see on the timing board, Mimo VIP has now been relegated to the back of the classification because he did not ready up before the start of the formation lap. So he will have to do this one the hard way. He will have to come back through from the back of the pack. It's going to be a very challenging evening for this man here. But one man who will be probably very relieved to see that is Jonathan Reed. Although having said that, Jonathan probably a little bit frustrated actually that he's not going to get that duel that was potentially promised between himself and Mimo VIP. We got robbed of it last week at Silverstone, and looks like we're going to once again be robbed of it here at Spa. But hopefully Cordeo will have the pace to take the fight to him, and SMT Maroon, we saw how quick he was last time out at Silverstone, so he will, I'm sure, be pretty close onto Jonathan come the start of this race. 8 of you watching, guys, drop a like as we said before. Please do so, as it really does help us out an enormous amount on the Motive channel. It helps us to grow the channel and expand to a wider audience. Let's get all of the guys on ACC on PlayStation in here on a Sunday night. We can run a couple of tiers again. I miss those days when we used to run 2 tiers. We used to run the tier 2s at 5 o'clock. We'd run the tier 1s at 6. We'd have a whole sort of event running on for here for the ACC GT3s at Motive. Nowadays, obviously down to the 1 tier. If you miss those days, if you want to have a full event on tonight on a Sunday night at Motive, then be sure to share the stream, get more drivers into this Discord server, and we can enjoy the whole aura about the place on a Sunday night. But right now we've got Jonathan leading us around up towards Blanchimont on the formation lap. We're moments away from the start of round 7 for the GT3s, and this one is going to be absolutely spectacular, guys. Been waiting a while for the start of this race. It's a very long lap here at Spa, and obviously on the formation lap, the speeds that the cars are going, it's almost excruciating, as we're literally just sat here waiting, wanting the race to start. But at the moment, these guys are just coming in towards the bus stop chicane. Double file they go here as they are about to go racing. Jonathan Reed will start this one on pole with Credeo alongside him. They'll be on the front row together. You're going to have SMT Maroon in third, Light Blade behind them, Scuderia Paul and Nils Barson with DDTKU, Lord Ash Wilson, Spuzz and Rompu, Nilsson Grey Wolf, Stones Racing, SD12 at Mimo VIP will be starting from the pit lane. As here we go then. This is it. This is the start of the race. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. And it is green, green, green. We are racing here at Spa. I think, no, I'm sorry, I've just had an absolute mare. I'm so sorry. They don't go until the next bit. I am so sorry. That is embarrassing as hell. I am so sorry, everybody. We're not going yet. We're going to come round La Source, and then we'll go just before we get to Eau Rouge. Oh my god. That is that's horrifying. So here we go then. We've got JR in the comments saying, let's go team run DJC, Lightblade, Rompu, Didi. Let's hope that the guys can have a clean race and really put on a good show tonight. Jonathan coming up towards the line, Quadeo there, all up his trumpet, but I think he's going to be lined up on the row behind him, down to the fact that Mimo VIP was supposed to be on the front row alongside Jonathan. But here we go, it's green, 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 and we see there Quadeo trying to tuck in and defend from SMT Maroon, Lightblade, Scuderia Paul there in 5th place. You've got Nils Barsa, Didi, Lord Ash Wilson, Spuzz, Rompu, Nilsson there in 11th place with Grey Wolf, Stones, SD12 Dash at the back, and the order still as it was, and very, very clean first corner here. Jonathan Reed leads up the Camel straight up towards the Coombe. He's got Quadeo on his outside. You can see there SMT Maroon looking to try and make the move on Quadeo up in towards the Coombe, and he's done it there really nicely. SMT Maroon up into P2. Brilliant move down the inside of Quadeo. Lightblade there running in 4th place. He's trying to defend here, but Scuderia Paul's got around Lightblade there through the Coombe up into 4th place, and Nils Barster now really close on the back of Lightblade at the moment. You've got DDTKU and Spuzz just behind them. Lord Ash Wilson, Nilsson, there's Rompu in 11th place with Stones Racing, SD12 Dash. Looks like those guys might have had a bit of a difficult opening to this race, as Stones looks like he's well off at the back of the rest of the pack. Stones and Grey Wolf have powered out absolutely, no, not Stones and Grey Wolf, in fact Stones and Mimo VIP. What's happened to Stones there? He's back with the driver who started from the pit lane. That's gone horrifyingly wrong there for Stones Racing. He's now way down the field as we go back to the leaders here. Jonathan Reed leads ahead of SMT Maroon. Oh, let's get rid of that. But at the moment, Jonathan leads from SMT. You've got Quadeo there, who's dropped back. What's happened to Quadeo? Oh my goodness me, Quadeo's dropped back. Lightblade is running just behind Nils Barsa by the looks of it. Is it? I think maybe, I don't know. As Jonathan Reed still leads us, coming up through out of in towards the final sector for the first time in this lap. You've got Maroon there just behind Jonathan Reed at the moment. Scuderia Paul has got ahead of Lightblade up into 3rd place. You've got Nils Barsa there in the background, who's got himself up into 5th place on this opening lap. Good first lap here from Nils Barsa. DDTKU, Spuzz, Lord Ash Wilson, Nilsson, Rompu completing the top 10. Rompu really close on the back of Nilsson, looking to try and make a move up the inside in towards Blanchimont. Is it? No, it's not even Nilsson. It's, oh, for God's sake, timing board again. It's Quadeo. Quadeo, what's happened to him? He's dropped down to 11th place on this opening lap. That could not have gone much worse there for Quadeo, to be fair. He's got back ahead of Rompu up into 10th. Pit lane open, obviously the pit window doesn't open until minute 25 of the race, but that has gone absolutely terribly there for Quadeo. He gets back ahead of Rompu up into P10, but it's pretty much been a disaster of an opening lap here for this man in the number 111 Ferrari, the reigning champion of the GT3s here. He's just behind Nilsson at the moment, looking to try and get back ahead of him. But Jonathan Leeds coming up through Radion for the second time in this race, and he gets a big slide there over the curbs. Oh my goodness, he was so close to the wall there. Maroon's going to get him up the Kemmel Straight on the exit of Radion up towards the Lacombe, and it looks like as though Maroon's got that one done up into the lead of the race. Jonathan there having a big uncharacteristic moment there, down to P2. Scuderia Paul and Lightblade in the background there watching this all happen. Nils Barster there in 5th, as we see Didi's had a horror show here. DDTKU's dropped down to the mid pack, possibly even towards the back of the pack here. In fact, yeah, he has these now behind SD12 Dash. So DDTKU has hit the wall and he's got damage on that car. He's down in P14. He's behind Spuzz and Mimo VIP. Oh no, what a shame there for DDTKU. Maroon currently leading this race by 6/10 ahead of Jonathan after Jonathan's little mistake there that we saw coming through Eau Rouge and Radion. You've got Scuderia Paul there running in 3rd place just ahead of Lightblade, and then a bit of a gap back to Nils Barster running in 5th place. Lord Ash Wilson there in P6 with Quadeo in 7th. There's Nilsson running in 8th place at the moment. Rompu, Grey Wolf there in 10th, just behind Rompu. In fact, he's dropped off a little bit of him. Rompu's a bit of a gap between himself and Grey Wolf and SD12 Dash. Spuzz a further 5 seconds back, nowhere near this battle here. As you see SD12 Dash having a little look to the inside of Grey Wolf, and Grey Wolf going a little bit wide there through Campus, but it doesn't look as though SD12 Dash can get that run and get the cut back on him at the moment. Grey Wolf holding on to that P10 for the time being as Rompu tries to skate away from these guys in P9. Nilsson's still on the back of, he's fallen off at the back of Quadeo, and Nilsson's now dropped behind this pack here. So Nilsson down to 11th place. He's been passed by Rompu, Grey Wolf and SD12 Dash. Quadeo on the back of Lord Ash Wilson now trying to recover positions after that disastrous first up. Quadeo's going to look down the inside of Blanchimont here. Can he complete this move? Yes, he does. Up into P6. Nicely done there. Lord Ash Wilson gave him the space on the inside, and Quadeo gets himself up another position. But these are the two leaders, SMT Maroon and Jonathan Reed, separated by 0.4 of a second. Maroon will know this is his big opportunity to get a win here in these GT3s, with Jonathan making a huge mistake on the previous lap coming through Radion. Really rattled over the curves, almost went into the wall, just about kept it out of the barriers. He would have had some substantial damage if he had hit the wall there, but Maroon has the lead as they're coming up towards Eau Rouge now. But let's keep an eye on Jonathan, because he had a very big moment coming through this corner on the previous lap. Let's hope he doesn't have any more of those before the end of this race. Looks like he's pretty clean this time around, but clearly taking a bit more caution coming through there than on previous times around. So Jonathan has now got it all to do there in P2 behind SMT Maroon, who leads this race. These guys pulling away from Scuderia Paul and Lightblade. Lightblade still unable to get ahead of Paul at the moment. There's Nils Barster running in 5th place. There's Quadeo 4 seconds behind. Currently has gapped Lord Ash Wilson a little bit by over a second, as Lord Ash Wilson has now got Rompu looking all over the back of him in towards Lacombe. Still can't get it done there. Grey Wolf SD12 Dash running just behind them. Nilsson in 11th with Mimo VIP, Spuzz and Stones Racing down in P14, a long way off for the rest of the pack, so it's not gone at all well for him over the course of this race so far. SMT Maroon has the lead, 0.3 of a second coming down the hill towards turn 12 for the 3rd time here in this race, and Jonathan Reed really pushing SMT Maroon at the moment. These two are the leaders. Obviously Jonathan surrendered the lead due to that big mistake that he made coming through Radion a couple of laps ago. Well, in fact it was actually, well, it was technically on the last lap, to be honest with you, but at the moment Jonathan still can't get back ahead of SMT Maroon. Looks like Maroon very strong around this Spa circuit, and he's also knows how to get some speed out of that Bentley. So at this point in the race, SMT Maroon has control of this race. 0.3 of a second between these two, coming in towards the final sector of the lap. Oh, So here we are then, leader of the race currently, still SMT Maroon holding off Jonathan Reed at the moment by only the skin of his teeth. In the background you've also got Scuderia Paul and Lightblade battling it out. Lightblade all up the bumper here of Scuderia Paul. 1.6 back to Niels Barcer, but it looks like that gap's come down. It's now a lot less than 1.6 back to this man in P5. Scuderia Paul has got Lightblade looking to his inside up towards Campus, and Lightblade's going to have that one done on the brakes there. Beautifully done there from Lightblade, sliding up the inside right also over that curve a little bit, but he's done that one really nicely there. And it's now a Bentley 1, 2, 3, 4 here, where it was already, to be fair, but now it might be a Ferrari getting itself in the mix here. It looks as though Scuderia Paul's got his hands full of Niels Barcer. 2 tenths between him at the previous checkpoint, and Scuderia Paul was really sliding around there coming to that previous corner, but Lightblade up into third place can now try and chase down the 2 leaders. In the background of this you've also got Lord Ash Wilson battling it out with Rompu. 4 tenths between these two, still Rompu unable to find a way through ahead of Lord Ash at the moment. Maroon still has got a half-second gap here to Jonathan Reed as they come into the bus stop chicane and out onto the start-finish straight for the 4th time here in this race. Maroon though currently got the lead down to Jonathan's little mistake there on lap 2 of the race, and he's currently since then just held onto it and done a really good job in this one. JR saying in the comments, let's go Lightblade P3. Absolutely, JR, he's got work to do though. The 2 leaders are a long way ahead at the moment, 7 tenths between them, but if Maroon and Jonathan start tripping over each other, start pushing each other a little too hard, do not count out Lightblade. I'm sure he will be there, Johnny on the spot, ready to jump in and deliver a knockout blow to these guys should they end up tangling or slowing each other down in any way. Niels Barcer running in 5th place, still on the back of Scuderia Paul at the moment. In fact, hold on a second, yes, bit more of that than that now. I think Scuderia Paul's had the better of the first sector so far. He's got a little bit of a gap back to Niels Barcer at this point, but he's currently 1.7 off the back of Lightblade. Lightblade's pulling away from both of these two since getting ahead of Scuderia Paul on that previous lap. The gap between Jonathan and Lightblade 6.2, so it's going up at the moment. Lightblade is not losing as much time to them as he was, but he's certainly not closing in. He's just keeping the gap around the same to the 2 leaders at the moment, but still plenty of time left in this race. Still opportunities for Lightblade to bring himself into this race. Rompu still on the back of Lord Ash Wilson at the moment, 4 tenths of a second between those two. Spuz has really closed up onto the back of Grey Wolf at the moment. Look at that, 3 tenths of a second between these two at the moment. He's going to look to try and send one down the inside, I think, is Spuz, and get himself ahead of Grey Wolf as soon as he possibly can. Gap at the front between Maroon and Jonathan still very close, only 6 tenths at the previous checkpoint. It's less than that now though, but still SMT Maroon unable to find any gaps, unable to exploit the space and find a way through back up into the lead here. Jonathan Reed still unable to get ahead of SMT Maroon up into that lead of the race. Niels Barcer still 8 tenths behind Scuderia Paul, still can't find a way through. Rompu within 4 tenths of Lord Ash Wilson. Spuz within 3 tenths of a second of Grey Wolf. Lots and lots going on at the moment, but not too many moves for the positions going on at this point. It looks like it's just settling down. There's pressure, but there's no actual changes in the order at this point in the race. But Jonathan Reed going to try and put the pressure on SMT Maroon if he possibly can. As Mimo VRP is now closed up onto this battle between between Lord Ash Wilson and Rompu, and Mimo now looking to the inside in towards Blanchimont, to the outside of Rompu even, and he drives clean around the outside of Rompu there. Brilliantly done before we get to Blanchimont. He can now set his sights on Lord Ash Wilson just up ahead as they're coming in towards the bus stop chicane. Yeah, he's got that one done beautifully there as Mimo VRP up into 8th place ahead of Rompu. Can he now get the cut back on Lord Ash Wilson out of the final corner and get him on the start finish straight? Let's see, as he's now in that slipstream here. Down the start finish straight they come. He's going to have to get this one a long way. I think Lord Ash is going to try and defend the inside line. He's going to then squeeze him to the outside as now Mimo VRP sent around the long way. Can he get that cut back out of La Source and try and get him on the run up towards El Rouge? I think he's close, you know. Out of the slipstream he pulls out. Here we go, bumper to bumper stuff. Now they're going to be side by side as once again Lord Ash just covers him off, and Mimo looking to the outside towards the Grill Rouge, but in the end tucks in, thinks better of that one. That would have been a simply monumental accident if they'd tangled coming into El Rouge. But look at that, Lord Ash goes straight on there through Radion, and now that's going to be the opportunity for Mimo VRP to get this one done. He looks to the inside, down the Kemmel straight they come. Mimo's got ahead of Lord Ash up into 7th place. Now Rompu's going to be looking to try and get ahead of Lord Ash as well. Up towards Lacombe they come. Mimo VRP though up into 7th place. Brilliant move there from him. And Lord Ash still ahead of Rompu for the time being. But great race in there. As JR saying in the comments there, looks like Reed is running more wing than that P1. Yeah, I think so. That might be why he's not able to get him on the straights. He's quick and he's able to keep up with him. But it doesn't look as though these two battling out at the front, doesn't look as though Jonathan has got that straight line speed to be able to out drag SMT. Even with the slipstream, he's got no answer to him at this point. But looking through this middle sector, he's absolutely all over him. But SMT Maroon is just able to park it on the corners, park it on the inside, and there's no way around for Jonathan Reed at this point. It's great driving here from SMT Maroon at this point in the race, as it looks as though Scuderia Paul's got a bit of a gap back to Niels Barcer now, over a second between those two. You've got Lord Ash Wilson within 4/10 of Mimo VIP since being overtaken by him, but Rompu's still on the back of Lord Ash Wilson at the moment. Those two have been battling it out. They're now both being passed by Mimo VIP, who started from the pit lane having qualified in P2. We've got Spuzz within 7/10 of a second of Grey Wolf. Still no change between those two. Spuzz has been on the back of Grey Wolf for quite a while now, but still not able to force the issue here, with the Grey Wolf currently running in 11th place in that Lexus. Scuderia Paul got about a second back to Niels Barcer, still coming in towards the bus stop chicane. Gap between Maroon and Jonathan Reed, 6/10 of a second as they're coming up towards La Source. Can Jonathan try and get a good run here, try and get himself in that slipstream if he can? Goes much later on the brakes. He's got so much more confidence on the brake pedal, but it looks as though SMT Maroon gets a good bit of traction out of the corner, and Jonathan's got no answer to him. The gap looks like it's around 6/10 there as they came through the camera shot up towards El Rouge. Jonathan needs a good run through here. If he can get that good run, he might set himself up nicely for on the run up towards the Lacombe through the Kemmel Straight, but you see the SMT Maroon cutting the inside of Radion. If he does that too much more, he's going to get a penalty, and he will face the wrath of the stewards for that one. But up towards Lacombe they come. SMT Maroon holding on to that position for the time being. You've got Lightblade in the background there running in 3rd place. He's got about 3 seconds back to Scuderia Paul at the moment. Niels Barcer there running in 5th, just behind them. Quadeo in the background there trying to get himself back into this equation here. Maybe chasing a podium in this race, who knows. Lightblade's currently 6-7 seconds ahead of him. I think Lightblade might have a little bit too much for him, but I'm sure Quadeo will be targeting a 4th place at least here in this race, with Scuderia Paul and Niels Barcer just up the road from him. Lord Ash Wilson still running in 8th place, still just ahead of Rompu. Those two have already lost 4.5 seconds to Mimo VIP, who is absolutely flying at this stage in the race. And to be fair, I wouldn't rule out Mimo VIP of finishing on a podium here. He looks like he's really got the pace to finish on the podium. And as I said before, he qualified in 2nd, not too far off of Jonathan. But he's been cutting through this pack like ice so far. And he has been really showing how much pace he's got in that Bentley. Obviously he qualified on pole at Silverstone, qualified 2nd tonight, failed to ready up at the start, so meant he had to start from the pits. So he's really been up against it, but he is now getting himself involved in what could be a really thrilling race up the front of this pack here, as we currently still got Lightblade running in the final podium spot. He's really gapped Scuderia Paul and Niels Barcer since getting ahead of him. Niels Barcer is running just about over a second behind Scuderia Paul, so Scuderia Paul's currently got that one under control. Jonathan Reed still on the back of SMT Maroon at the moment as they're now coming up towards the bus stop chicane. Jonathan is still a little bit too far back to send one down the inside, and it's still as you were between those two. Can Jonathan try and get the cut back here coming out onto the start finish straight? Looks as though SMT Maroon's just got the measure of him for now, and there's not going to be any changes for the time being. Sorry about that, guys. We're back on once again. 4/10 of a second between these two leaders here. Currently, SMT Maroon has had the lead since the early stages when he got his way ahead of Jonathan Reed, but Jonathan since then has not given up. He's still stuck to the task resolutely and is really not giving up in this battle here. It's not letting me use the menu with my controller, so I'm gonna have to stick with the wheel. Gonna have to grab my wheel and put it on my lap now, which is very awkward. But there we go. About that, just dropped my controller on the floor, but yeah, it's currently Maroon still leading this race at the moment. These two very close though. Maroon currently only got 7/10 back to Jonathan, but as JR alluded to earlier on, the pace that that Maroon's got down the straights means that Jonathan's got no answer to him. They're both running in the Bentley, but it's quite clear to JR and to myself that Maroon is running a much lower downforce setup. You see in the middle sector, Jonathan is absolutely all over his bumper, but then down the faster sections of the track, such as this, and also through Blanchimont up towards the bus stop, you're seeing it more in action. I just heard a little murmur from Lightblade in the game chat there, so I don't know if there is some kind of incident or something, but I just heard a little sound from Lightblade's mic, so I don't know whether he's just saying something to any of the drivers, maybe a back marker or something, I don't know, but I just heard him say something in the game chat there, so I didn't quite make out what it was though, because I don't actually have my headphones on. When I'm commentating by myself, I have the headphones sort of down on my neck, so that my mouth is sort of closer to the mic. I find that it captures the sound a bit better that way, so I didn't actually get to hear what he said. I just heard a little murmur as my headphones are down on my shoulders, but yeah, at the moment, still as he were at the front. SMT Maroon still keeping Jonathan Reed behind him. The rest of the pack pretty strung out. Not really a whole lot going on, to be honest with you. But these two just coming in towards Campus at the moment. Sorry, Stavilo even, not Campus. They've already been through Campus. That was the previous corner. This is Stavilo. And then this corner, I don't think it's got a name, to be fair. But SMT Maroon very wide there coming through that part of the track. And Jonathan, if he needs an opportunity to present itself, this could maybe be it. Up towards Blanchimont they come, but still just a little bit too far back, I think, Jonathan, to make anything happen. SMT will cover that inside line, will not allow any gaps to form. Jonathan now looking to the outside in towards the bus stop, trying to get this around the long way. Oh, it goes a little bit deep into the corner. SMT is going to try and hold it around the outside and swoops back around into the lead again, but that was pretty close there. Jonathan, maybe a dress rehearsal there for him, trying to eye up how he's going to get this move done, possibly. I don't know, but really nicely done there from Jonathan Reed, and managing to put SMT under a bit of pressure, but SMT had the answer there, and ultimately holds on to that lead by the skin of his teeth. So interesting stuff here between these two in what is still relatively early in the race. We're not quite half distance yet, 22 minutes in, 38 to go. Pit window will be opening in a few minutes time. Not a whole lot of comments coming in, but we have got 9 people watching the stream, so guys, please drop a like on the video. Let's get this video to 10 likes if we can, as there are 9 of you watching, so there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to get at least 9 likes on the video, and show your appreciation for namely these two out the front who are really putting on a great battle, but also to Niels Barser, who's closing up onto Scuderia Paul. That gap battle is looking pretty close at the moment, and SD12 Dash looks as though he's closing in a bit on Lord Ash Wilson now. That looks like it's a potential battle going on between those two. Lord Ash dropped off the back of Mimo VIP. He's pulled away from Rompu though, and Rompu's really dropped out of that mid-pack battle there, as he was with Mimo and Lord Ash a little while ago. Mimo is obviously coming back through the pack, so we shouldn't pay too much attention to him, because he qualified in second and then had to start from the pits, so he's obviously passed Lord Ash a little while ago. He's already pulled out 10 seconds to him, but Lord Ash has pulled out a gap to Rompu as well. As we've got 10 people watching the stream at the moment, guys, please drop a like and subscribe to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. Join us at www.motiveracing.com, and if you're watching on Facebook, be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com and check out the stream as well. We've got JR saying, looks like Reed is running more wing than P1. Game for Life saying, hello mate, welcome along buddy. Good to have you with us. Game for Life, regular racer in the F1 League on a Friday night. Also does a bit of commentating alongside me. Kept me company in a commentary box on Friday when I was all by myself. Very much appreciated. And great to see you watching right now. Who do I think will win? Oh, that's a good question. Well, no offence to Jonathan Reed and all that, because I think he's a great driver. But it's getting a bit boring seeing one driver winning every race. So I kind of hope that SMT Maroon will do it tonight. I don't know, no slight on Jonathan. I'm supposed to be impartial. I'm a commentator. I want to see a good battle. You know what? I'm happy to see either of these two win, and this is absolutely honest truth here. I'll be equally happy to see either of these two win the race, but I want to see a good battle, and I want to see it go down to the wire, and I want to see them each pushing each other to their limits. And if that happens, I don't mind who wins, but who do I think will win? I've got to go with my head here. I think Jonathan, well, he's on a run of basically unstoppableness at the moment. He's been winning race after race after race. He's looked so strong throughout the course of this season. I reckon he will just grind away at SMT Maroon. I know Maroon is really determined to win this race. I spoke to him after the race at Silverstone a couple of Sundays ago, fortnight ago it was, when we last raced in the GT3s, and I know he's very motivated to do his best and to try and upset the odds and finally topple Jonathan and stop him from standing on the top step. I know how motivated he is, how determined he is to get a win here in these GT3s. Still yet to stand on the top step himself for this season, so I know he's going to be pushing this as hard as he possibly can, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if SMT Maroon were to take the win. But I've got to put my money on Jonathan. I really have, because he's just on a sizzling run of form at the moment. But anything can happen here, and we could be seeing that run come to an end. But currently Lightblade almost 8.5 seconds behind them at the moment, running in third place. Scuderia Paul 3.5 seconds behind him in fourth. Then you've got Niels Barcer, there in fifth. Cordeo's on the back of Niels Barcer right now. These two pretty close. They've both got Mimo VIP closing in on them quite a bit though. Mimo VIP's really been bringing that gap down over the course of the last few laps. Gamefly says, if you want, I can join the commentary. I don't have the game, but I can at least give you some company. I've got to get home first. But if you haven't got the game, mate, you wouldn't be able to watch. So it's I don't know how we're going to play that one. I can't share play you because I'm actually streaming through the PlayStation. So I unfortunately wouldn't be able to do it tonight, buddy. But it's a shame, but I can't get you in tonight. Just down to that, really. It's just down to the fact that I'm streaming through the PlayStation, so I wouldn't be able to get you in. As we see SMT Maroon's in the pits, so in he comes at the end of lap 11. Jonathan Reed still going out the front. SMT and Lightblade are both in here at the end of lap 11. So that's Scuderia Paul there coming round to obviously inherit second place with Maroon coming in. He's got Niels Barcer still right up his trumpet. Cordeo, Mimo VIP. These four drivers running within about 2 seconds of each other. So this is a very close battle indeed here for what is now second place, or a net fourth in the race, obviously, with Maroon and Lightblade both being in the pits. Jonathan out in front has got quite a sizable gap now, or even larger considering that those two who are pretty close to him are in the pits. Big shout out to Chris Pissock, JR and Game for Life obviously chiming in on the YouTube stream tonight. Anybody else watching? There's 11 of you out there. Guys, if you like what you see, comment on the video, let us know who your favourite is for tonight, let us know what you think of the action, and like the video please. 11 people watching the video, as we said. Let's get 11 likes on the video. Why not? What reason? Why not? Tell me, I want to know. Now, in all seriousness, please guys, drop a like. It helps us out so much, and it helps bring our streams to a wider audience, helps to get the leagues on the map. If you want to join, go to www.motiveracing.com. Obviously a lot of drivers are in the pits right now. Obviously Maroon and Lightblade from the reasonably the front of the pack. You've obviously got Rompu also in, Grey Wolf and Nielsen both in the pits at the moment. Jonathan Reed still going. He's got a 15-second gap at the moment to Scuderia Paul. But yeah, it's looking like an interesting race up the front here. Mimo VIP's actually dropped off a little bit off of these. Oh no, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. He's back on them again. He's right back on them again. That's empty, Nana. It's empty. I ate it yesterday. Careful. Alright. But at the moment, Mimo VIP is very, very close on the back of these three guys. Look at this. It's a 4-car train battling out over what's currently second place, but it's a net fourth once obviously the other two come into the pits. That is Maroon and Lightblade. But Jonathan Reed still leading this race. He's got a 16-second gap at the moment. He's coming into the pits now, so the race leader is in at the end of lap 12. So that's now going to put Scuderia Paul up into a provisional lead of the race, and he comes in the pits as well. He is in. Nils Barcer also in. Credeo coming in as well. Mimo VIP is going to stay out and try and get the overcut on these guys. As we said before, he's got some strong pace here as Mimo VIP, and we know that he's got more than enough potential to finish on the podium in this race. Started from the back down to the fact that he didn't ready up at the start, but qualified in second in the qualifying session before the race, so we know he's got the pace. We're going to keep an eye on him and see how he gets on during this pit window. Does he put fresh tyres on? Does he try and go to the end on the same set? SD12 Dash is pretty close to the back of Lord Ash Wilson here as well. These two coming into the source, and SD12 Dash gets that one done up the inside, I think, but Lord Ash Wilson's holding around the outside here, up towards El Rouge. Yeah, it's Grey Wolf. You like Grey Wolf, don't you? As we see these two side by side up towards El Rouge. And is ST12 Dash going to get this done? No, Lord Ash Wilson's going to keep it there, keep it pinned, and swoops back around him as they come through El Rouge and Radion. Oh, as we see Lord Ash Wilson getting a bit of a moment there, coming up through Radion though. And ST12 Dash is going to get the run up to Kemmel Straight, and it's got the move done up into 6th place there. Great stuff there from ST12 Dash, finally completing that move. Lord Ash Wilson tucks in, coming up towards Lacombe, and that is ST12 Dash up into P6. As we said before, the 4 drivers coming in, Spuzz following the that 3-car train that we saw of Scuderia Paul, Nils Barcer and Credeo. Spuzz also in. Jonathan Reed, obviously the race leader, is on his way out of the pits now, or should be anyway, because he came in a while ago. Maroon's already done his pit stop. He's coming over the start finish line now. Maroon was very close to Jonathan before Jonathan's come in. Obviously those two were battling over the lead. Now what's going to happen here in regards to these two? Maroon's coming out of that's alright, no, it's a rhetorical question. But at the moment you've got Jonathan Reed just coming on the pit exit now. Where is Maroon? Maroon is nowhere to be seen, and it looks as though Jonathan has played an absolute blinder in this pit window. He's got a very solid gap back to Maroon right now. It's about 5 seconds, no, not 5 seconds, probably about 2 seconds actually. That's my bad, completely infactual there. But this is absolutely brilliant developments here as we see these two still very close together, which keeps this race very much open and in the balance here, because you've got Jonathan and SMT Maroon separated by 2 seconds, and that could swing either way very, very quickly here. So SMT Maroon still very much in this race at this point, but Jonathan has got that jump on SMT Maroon, which is what he needed, it's what he wanted. The question is though, did he change tyres? If he didn't, they'll be wearing off like an absolute train by the end of the race, and we'll be seeing some differences once we get to the end. Stone's still yet to make his pit stop, as is SD12 Dash and Lord Ash Wilson. Mimo VIP's in the pits here at the end of lap 12, so he's now going to be stopping in his box at the next part of the pit lane. This is obviously the first part. The GT3 cars garages are on the other side of the pit lane, so you're basically driving through an age under pit limiter without actually having your garages available to you, and then you eventually stop in your box, and then you've got to go all the way up to El Rouge before you even get let off the pit limiter. So you're a long time in the pits here. It is a very long slog all the way through this pits, and currently Mimo VIP experiencing that. But it'd be interesting to see whether or not he's managed to get the jump on the guys he was racing with. Scuderia Paul, obviously Lightblade, Credeo. Scuderia Paul's got the jump on Lightblade up into, well, what is P6 at the moment. That will be a net third, I think. Scuderia Paul could maybe be in the podium spots here. He's played a blinder here in that strategy. He's got 2 seconds back to Lightblade, who's gone ahead of Stones. Stones still yet to pit here in this race, as he's now trying to hold on from Credeo. Credeo's going to look to the outside up towards Blanchimont here. What's going to happen here is we've got Nils Barcer in the background trying to go around the outside. Credeo gets the job done on Stones, and Nils Barcer follows him through. As we see there, that Stones not really fighting that one too hard, knows that's not his battle, knows he's already been in the pits, whereas these guys haven't. Gets well out of the way. Mimo VIP in the pits, SD12 Dash staying out for the time being, as is Lord Ash Wilson. And Stones, what's he going to do at the end of this lap? He's coming in. So Stones coming in and getting his pit stop done and out of the way. It's just on SD12 Dash and Lord Ash Wilson to come in and get their pit stops done before the end of this race. The question is, are they going to get that done before the end? We'll have to wait and see to find out the answer to that one though.
Andy, what's the time?
It's 6:45 or 6:47 even.
That's after the clocks have changed.
Yeah.
6:45.
Yeah. So Lord
I
Ash.
didn't get quite as late as I thought I did then. I'm sure I'd changed mine.
Sorry?
I was sure I'd changed my clock.
Oh yes.
But I obviously hadn't. What time are you on tomorrow?
I'm on at 9 tomorrow.
Because I've got to go out tomorrow.
Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Look, Mimo VIP's up the inside of Nils. Look at that. Oh, my goodness me. That was a bit of contact there. And I'd say Nils has probably got every right to be a little bit aggrieved with that one. Mimo definitely did die from him a little bit there. Definitely used him as a break and pushed him a bit wide. That's possibly a steward's inquiry there. Maybe not quite severe enough for a steward's, but for sure, I think that Nils is going to be probably cursing a bit there and say, come on, man, what was all that about?
What's telling you that it's 6:45?
The computer is. It's a fact now. It's a fact. It's 6:48 now. As we see there, SD12 Dash and Lord Ash Wilson both coming into the pits. And oh no, Stones is out of the race. What's happened there? He's been disqualified for going the wrong way. Oh no. But Stones is in the pits anyway. SD12 Dash both and Lord Ash Wilson both in now. So that is everybody having done their mandatory pit stops, which is obviously interesting indeed. So that will promote Jonathan Reed up into the lead. Maroon took 3/10 out of Jonathan on the previous lap, so he's bringing the gap back down since losing out to him through the pit stops. I wonder if Maroon changed tyres and maybe Jonathan didn't. Who knows? Lightblade and Paul side by side down the start finish straight. Lightblade's going to move himself into the podium spots, I think, here up towards the source. They come. The Bentley onto the brakes, both Bentleys onto the brakes, and Lightblade gets himself ahead into what is 5th place at the moment, but it will be 3rd once SD12 Dash and Lord Ash Wilson emerge. So Lightblade back onto the podium once again, as we said. SD12 Dash still in the box, as is Lord Ash Wilson. Those two have not moved, as Maroon still continuing to close the gap to Jonathan as well. The gap now under 2 seconds. So since the pit window, since they came out of the pits, Maroon has already gained half a second here on Jonathan. I wonder, I'm increasingly beginning to wonder whether Jonathan elected to stay on the same tyres maybe in exchange for a shorter pit stop. Whatever the case, obviously he got the jump on Maroon and gained about 3 seconds through the pit window, so that could be a possibility. But at the moment, since the pit stops and since they've come out, it's definitely Maroon who's had that pace advantage ever so slightly, not by masses, but he's certainly been a bit quicker. As we look back down the order here, it looks like Nils Bass has got back ahead of Mimo VIP up into 6th. So in fact, no, Mimo's done him again. So they swapped over once and they swapped over again. And now Mimo's back up into 6th place as they're coming down the hill towards turn 12. But yeah, this is the only real battle going on aside from Lightblade and Scuderia Paul, who are now separated by almost a second. Quideo is really closing on Scuderia Paul now. He's only about 2.5 seconds behind Lightblade is Quideo. So I don't know, maybe Quideo could bring himself into the battle for the podium spots, who knows. I think Lightblade might just have enough there though in that 3rd spot. Stones obviously disqualified from the race for driving the wrong way. It's down in P15, has not going to complete this race, we know that for sure now. But here is Quideo currently hassling the back of Scuderia Paul as they're coming up towards Blanchimont. What can Quideo do here with the man currently in 4th place in this race? Got comment coming in there on the YouTube stream, which hasn't appeared yet actually on my computer. Very strange. It's saying I got a comment. Oh yeah, JR says Lightblade's quality showing though, minimal practice and still in the podium spot. Yeah, for sure, JR. Lightblade's always a man who you can bank on to jump in a race at any sort of notice and really perform. We saw it in the Porsche Super Cup a couple of weeks ago when he raced Paul Ricard. He jumped in very late on. I mean, he announced that he was racing about 15 minutes before the actual race itself and still turned up and gave Will Friedman a really good run for his money. And when you consider that, the man's got extreme talent and he's got a lot of racing prowess. He knows what he's doing behind the wheel of a racing car, and he's currently run in that 3rd place. He's already gapped Scuderia Paul and Quideo by over 2.5 seconds, and Quideo now trying to put the pressure on Scuderia Paul as he can see his podium slipping away with Lightblade inching away from them every lap that goes by that Quideo is behind Paul. In the background of this, Mimo VIP's now gapped Nils by about 1.5 seconds. Nils still running in P7, still driving a very strong race here at Spa tonight. Could potentially be getting promoted to a full-time seat here at Motive as well. So that will be great to see. SD12 there in 8th place has got 7.5 seconds back to Lord Ash Wilson at the moment. A further almost second back to Spuzz, and then you've got Rompu in 11th place. It's got Grey Wolf hounding and hassling him as they're coming up towards the source. Nilsson there running in P13, and Didi in 14th place and currently last place in this race. But Grey Wolf there looking to try and get himself onto the back of Rompu if he can. Manan's gone out of the room, so she can't enjoy her favourite driver name there. But at the moment, we got Credell up the inside of Scooter Paul into campus, and now that's Mimo VRP trying to go around the outside of him as well. Oh, Paul pushes Mimo VRP all the way to the edge of the track. Mimo's still there on the inside. Can he hold it on the inside for campus? This is such close racing here. Scooter, oh, Paul's very wide, and that is now Mimo VRP up in the inside, up into 5th place. Brilliant move there from Mimo, was not giving up by any stretch of the imagination. Now Paul's got heavy pressure from Nils. Nils trying to get himself into the top 5 if he can. Paul going backwards here in this race. He's just lost 2 positions. It could be 3 positions in 1 lap for Scooter Paul. It's all gone horribly wrong there for the man in the number 24. The green and white Bentley has now got Nils very close behind him up towards bus stop. And is he going to make that move? No, he's not. Tucks back in behind. Thinks better of that one for the time being. Quadeo has got almost a second back to Mimo, but Mimo now on the charge here. Maybe Mimo could be tasting, could be sensing a podium spot here. Lightblade's made a break for it. He knows that Mimo is on his way. Obviously Mimo qualified in 2nd place, started from the back due to not reading up at the start, but could maybe be targeting Lightblade's P3 as a potential finish here in this race. Mimo VIP's driven absolutely brilliantly, has done bits here since the start of this race. Quadeo running 4 seconds behind Lightblade, has got Mimo really close behind him. Scooter Paul, Nils Barster running in 6th and 7th places. Nils Barster still hounding and hassling the back of Scooter Paul at the moment. Spaz is within 4/10 of Lord Ash Wilson. These two look like they're pretty close. Lord Ash has had a bit of a scruffy race since the pit stops. He's really dropped off at that pace by quite a bit. Rompu has now dropped off of Grey Wolf. 1.4 seconds currently between those two, running in 11th and 12th places. You've got Nilsson and Didi still going in P13 and 14. The gap between the 2 leaders, Jonathan Reed and SMT Maroon, just over 2 seconds. So that gap is staying reasonably the same at the moment. The championship leader keeping his gap to SMT Maroon. SMT has said in the build up to this one he doesn't want to lose again to Jonathan. He wants to take this fight to him and get his first win in the GT3s here at Motive. He's done a really good job so far, but unfortunately for him, Jonathan jumped him through the pit stops, and that has given Jonathan this lead and it's given him that ascendancy in the final third of this race. Mimo VIP's got the gap down to half second to Quadeo, but in fact he's got ahead of him. Quadeo has lost out to Mimo. Mimo's up into 4th place there as they're coming in towards campus. Mimo now is going to have an opportunity to try and chase after Lightblade running in 3rd. The gap about 4-5 seconds between Lightblade and Mimo VIP. The timing board still hasn't updated to say that Mimo's made the move on Quadeo, but he 100% has. You can see with your own eyes there he's done it, and yes, it's showing now on the timing screen. Mimo VIP up into 4th place ahead of Quadeo, and has got 4.5 seconds to try and get himself on the podium in this final 20 minutes of this race. Lightblade's giving himself a decent head start here, has really made hay while the sun shines, whilst Mimo was trying to get ahead of Quadeo there, but Quadeo now losing out to Mimo. Mimo now in some clean air can now try and chase down that podium spot. Jonathan putting out the gap to SMT Maroon, 2.5 seconds between those two at the moment. Nils Barster still only 0.8 of a second behind Scooter Paul, but Scooter Paul's kind of stopped the rot, got himself back into a rhythm after that horror show of a lap on the previous lap, has now found his feet once again. Lord Ash Wilson's gap spuzzed a little bit, the gap now just over a second between those two, so Lord Ash has really responded since Spuzz started to close in a little bit. Just a couple of laps to go. Quadeo's got 0.7 of a second up the road to Mimo, but obviously Mimo has made that move and is now going to try and move away from him and chase down the man in P3 who is Lightblade. SMT Maroon gained half a second in that final sector there on Jonathan Reed, so SMT Maroon now really getting it down and looking to try and take this fight to the race leader if he can. Guys, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, show your appreciation for these drivers out on track. If you're watching on Facebook, then go to www.motiveracing.com, watch the stream live there. You can also watch it on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, type in Motive Racing in the search bar, click on the channel and watch us live right now. That was a hiccup, but at the moment SMT Maroon keeping the gap around the same to Jonathan Reed. Scooter Paul has lost out to Nils Barster. Nils Barster now in P6. So Scooter Paul losing out another position. If Scooter Paul hadn't lost out to the two Ferraris of Quadeo and Nils Barster, we would have had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the Bentleys, but he's lost out unfortunately for him there. Quadeo still on the back of Mimo VIP. The gap between Lightblade and Mimo VIP for the final podium spot staying at around 4 seconds at the moment. And Jonathan, as ever, looking very strong through that middle sector, but SMT Maroon really closes in on him through the faster parts of the track. So this little run here up towards bus stop, SMT Maroon will be closing that gap, but then through that middle sector there, Jonathan Reed absolutely flies around it. But currently it's Jonathan Reed leading the race ahead of SMT Maroon. Lightweight on the final podium spot, 25 seconds behind them. A long way behind, but he's got a reasonable gap back to Mimo VIP running in fourth. So Lightweight looking good for a podium. Mimo VIP and Quideo completing the top 5 at this point. Niels Barca has gapped Scuderia Paul by 1.7 seconds since getting ahead of him on that previous lap. SD12 Dash running all by himself there in 8th place. He's got 8 seconds back to Lord Ash Wilson, who's keeping the gap at around a second back to Spuzz running in 10th place. You've got a long way back to Grey Wolf running all by himself in 11th place. Rompu 12 in no man's land. Also Nilsson and DDTKU still going in this race as we're approaching the closing stages of this race. Jonathan Reed has gapped SMT Maroon by 2.7. But look at this, it looks as though that gap's a little bit less coming up towards the Coombe, and obviously that's because the faster parts of the track, that is where SMT Maroon excels. And having said that though, he only gained 2/10 on him coming through that first sector. That gap looked like less than 2.5. I thought it was more like about 2.1, 2.2, but apparently not. But at the moment, not really too many battles going on. The field kind of spread out at the moment. This is the battle for the lead. Jonathan Reed and SMT Maroon, 2.5 seconds between them. Lightweight a long way behind in 3rd place. But to peter out a little bit maybe now. Mimo VIP closing the gap to Lightblade, and that's now got to be the battle to watch here in these closing stages. Can Mimo charge after Lightblade and get himself on the podium, or is Lightblade going to get his rewards with pretty much minimal practice tonight? Lightblade messaged us in the afternoon, said, look mate, is it alright if I just get in for tonight, get a bit of racing under my belt in the GT3s? And I said, yep, as long as we've got space, look, that'll be fine. Let me get back to you on that one, as we've had no one pull out of the race. But then we got towards the race time, we had 14 people in the lobby. I said to him, look, jump in, you might as well. Sent him the password for the server, in he jumped, and he's absolutely driven superbly here tonight in that number 777. He's really risen to the occasion, has Lightblade tonight. Currently sat in that podium spot. Could have been a little bit better if it hadn't been for a slow start to the race, but nonetheless he has really performed. And Mimo VIP coming from the back due to starting from the pit lane could be maybe closing the gap to Lightblade, but at this point in the race I'd say they're pretty much nip and tuck. The gap's kind of just staying at around the same. Saying that though, no it's not. Mimo VIP just gained 0.8 of a second coming through that middle sector there, so Mimo brought the gap down by a lot coming through that part of the track. Wow, just as I was saying there that the gap's not really coming down, Mimo took a massive chunk out of Lightblade's time there. He's already gapped Quideo by 1.5 seconds since making that move on him a couple of laps ago. Gap between Jonathan and SMT Maroon now almost 3 seconds, so Jonathan looks like he's got enough of a response in the tank here to keep SMT Maroon at bay. As we've got less than 15 minutes to go, we're into the final quarter of the race here for round 7 of the GT3s here on ACC at Motive Racing. But Jonathan Reed again lost 0.3 to Maroon coming to that first sector, where he's so strong. Maroon running that low downforce setup really is making massive gains coming through that part of the track. Apologies for that, guys. We're back on once again, and currently the gap between the two leaders, Jonathan Reed and SMT Maroon, 2.7 seconds. So Jonathan's got that gap, but Maroon stages in the lap, as we said before, down the faster sections of the track, is bringing the gap down, and then Jonathan Reed's got the pace coming through that middle sector. Seems to be absolutely flying, coming through the slow to medium speed corners that we've got here at Spa-Francorchamps. These two obviously miles clear of Lightblade, but now Lightblade has only got 1.3 seconds back to Mimo VIP. So this is now absolutely race on between these two. Mimo VIP has been bringing the gap down over these last few laps, and now this is looking like this could go down to the wire between these two. This could get very tasty indeed between these two, battling over that final podium spot. They've got 3 seconds back to Quideo, running in 5th place at the moment. Gap between Jonathan and SMT currently just over 3 seconds, so Jonathan's got that buffer, but if he makes one mistake then SMT is going to be right there. You can absolutely bet your house on that. Lightblade and Mimo VIP now separated by just under a second. Mimo VIP has come from the back of the field, started from the pit lane, now finds himself on the cusp of standing on the podium, but the reserve tonight, late standing, minimal practice for this man. Lightblade running in 3rd place. Can he hold him off in the closing laps of the race? That is the big question, and that's what we're going to find out ultimately over these next couple of laps. Here we go then, Lightblade defending to the inside, down the hill towards turn 10. Mimo VIP trying to get it around the long way if he can. Mimo's going to try and get it there, but Lightblade squeezing him out for the time being, holding on to that position. In the meantime, you've got Jonathan Reed has got the gap just under 3 seconds to SMT, but Lightblade clinging on by the skin of his teeth at the moment, coming through down towards the middle sector of the lap. This is going to get juicy here between these two. Lightblade, we know, is one of the best defensive drivers here at Motive on ACC. We know he can get his elbows out and can really fight for positions. We've seen him chase and be the offensive driver. Now how's he going to get on being the defensive? We've seen him defending as well, to be fair. We saw it in the Porsche Cup a couple of weeks ago at Imola. We've seen it many times throughout the seasons here on ACC. Oh no, he's lost it! Oh no, he's had a big moment there, and Mimo VIP tags him, and where has Lightblade come out in all of that? He comes out still ahead of him. Oh my goodness me, a big flash of the lights there from Quideo. He's obviously not happy about something, but Lightblade there having a big moment, and that's ultimately probably going to give him damage to both himself and Mimo VIP. Disaster for those two, as Quideo is now really close on the back of him, and now Quideo down the inside of Lightblade. Lightblade's got damage on his Bentley by the looks of it, as Quideo slips up the inside up into 4th place. Is Lightblade going to pit, or is he going to long it out and try and put up with the damage that he's got all the way until the flag? Oh, what a shame there for Lightblade. That is a real crushing blow there for him, as he's down to P5 in this race, as now Mimo up into that podium spot which he's been chasing for so long in this race. He's been really pushing it over the last few laps, and he's finally got his reward. Gap between Jonathan Reed and SMT Maroon staying at around 3 seconds. Mimo VIP in the podium spots now has got Quideo just under a second behind him, but Quideo only really closing on those two down to the little collision that we saw between Lightblade and Mimo. Mimo getting ahead of him, Lightblade losing out 2 positions. Niels Barster running in P6, but what a shame for Lightblade after a solid fight back from himself. Oh no, big slide coming through Radion, just about holds onto it. That is an incredible save there from Lightblade, but it's all going horribly wrong there for him. It's unravelling basically corner after corner now. I think that damage is maybe affecting the drivability quite considerably of that car, and he's now got Niels Barster appearing on the horizon behind him, and this could be Niels Barster up into a top 5 spot here in this race. Lightblade's race has just completely gone to the toilet in the last lap or so, and that's a real shame there. Obviously gutting for him when he was in that podium spot and looked to have that done, but having said that, it was by no means done really, because Mimo VIP was coming for him and was really on the back of him for a number of laps. Mimo had the pace and was quicker than Lightblade, but Lightblade looked like he was defending the position, and we know how good he is at defending. I thought he might have a chance of doing it, but he's lost out there. He's down to P5, and if he's not careful, he'll lose out on P5 to Nils Barser as well. Such a shame there for Lightblade, it really is. Jonathan Reed running in P1 has lost a 10th to SMT over the course of this lap so far, but it looks as though he's going to be able to bring this round the last 3 laps of Spa here. Jonathan Reed, what a drive once again, looking like he's going to take another win here in this GT3 Championship. What can stop this man, the Championship leader? He's going to wrap up this title with a couple of rounds to spare this season at this rate, he really is. But the reigning champion Quideo running in 4th place. Jonathan will extend his points gap by quite some considerable way, as we got now Nils Barser almost within a second here of Lightblade as they're coming up towards Blanchimont. 3 laps to go for Lightblade to keep this under control, to keep it together and not let that damage completely overwhelm him. But he's going to have to be absolutely on it here, and Nils is going to pass him easily coming into the bus stop chicane due to that damage from Lightblade. He's got 12 seconds back to Scuderia Paul. Holding on to P6 has got to be his target here in this race. He'd lose untold amounts of time by bringing it into the pits. His best shot is to stay out and hope for the best. But they're coming over the line to complete their 23rd lap of the race, and with 12 seconds back to Scuderia Paul, I reckon Lightblade could probably hold on for P6. He's going to have to be very well disciplined and to hold and basically just hold that Bentley by the scruff of its neck. But I reckon that might just be doable for Lightblade. The gap between Jonathan Reed and SMT Maroon has come down by about 0.6 of a second on that previous lap. That is one to watch, because SMT maybe now just taking that last bit of life out of his tyres. We're still not sure if Jonathan Reed stopped for tyres or not in the pit window. He seemed to have a quicker pit stop than SMT. Jumped him in the pits by quite a comfortable margin. Ended up being 3 seconds ahead of him after the pit window, despite the fact that he was about a second behind when he came in. So I don't know whether Jonathan came in and didn't pit for tyres. If he did, then SMT is going to have a massive advantage in these final couple of laps. But honestly, it's all up in the air at the moment. Jonathan took 2/10 out of SMT through that middle sector there, but we know that Jonathan has obviously got that pace through the middle sector there, has got a lower downforce setup compared to SMT, who's got that Jonathan's got a higher downforce setup in comparison to SMT with the lower downforce setup. SMT quick on the straights, Jonathan much quicker through the corners. Up towards the bus stop they come. This is the part of the track where SMT is pretty decent. Onto the brakes to see how he handles the bus stop chicane. At the moment, Jonathan Reed's got that gap and has got that ascendancy, and with 2 laps left to go, should be able to take another win here on the Motive Racing YouTube channel here in the GT3s on Assetto Corsa Competizione here on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platform. Quideo within a second of Mimo VIP. I think Mimo might have a bit of damage after that collision with Lightblade that we saw a few laps ago. Quideo seems to have the pace, and I must admit earlier on Quideo did not have the pace of Mimo, so I think maybe that damage on Mimo's car now starting to play havoc a little bit with his drivability. Could Quideo be on for a podium here in this race? Maybe the reigning champion might be able to taste the champagne at the end of this one, as Nils Barser has already gapped Lightblade by 3 seconds, but Lightblade crucially has got 10 seconds back to Scuderia Paul. So Scuderia Paul's gained about 2 seconds on Lightblade over the course of this lap. But 2 seconds with 2 laps left to go means that he will fall short by quite some way. Lightblade just has to hold it together here. He just needs to keep doing what he's doing. Hold that car. Just keep it pointing in the right direction. Keep it out of the walls. Keep it off the runoffs. And he will have P6 in the bag. But I know Scuderia Paul's going to push this one all the way to the flag. He's not going to give up until that checkered flag is waving. Jonathan Reed still continues to lead. The gap now down to 2.1 between Jonathan and SMT Maroon. But having said that, SMT, well, he's gained about 3/10 over the last lap or so. 3/10, that's not too bad, as they're now coming up on some lap traffic, which could maybe play a bit of a pivotal role here. Jonathan Reed's already put a lap on the traffic. That, I think it is Rompu there, as Rompu crashes into the wall as he moves aside for the 2 leaders. Jonathan's still leading ahead of SMT Maroon. The gap between those two looks like it's around 1.8, I would guess. Looks like it's about 1.8. We'll see once they get to the sector points. or maybe it's about maybe about 2 seconds now. It's gone up by about 2/10 coming through that corner there. Yeah, 2.0 on the dot between the two of them. So at the moment Jonathan Reed's got that lead, but having said that, the sector that they've just been through is Jonathan Reed territory due to the higher downforce setup that he's got on his Bentley compared to SMT Maroon's Bentley. So we'll be seeing SMT gaining a little bit through here. Also down the Kemmel Straight we'll be seeing SMT usually takes about half a second out of Jonathan coming down that section of the track. So we'll see how this unfolds as they're about to start the final lap of the race here. So here we go, this is it, this is for all the marbles. Jonathan Reed coming up on some traffic, there it is, just in front of him, flash of the lights there as Grey Wolf is just ahead of him. Over the line they come, the gap exactly 2 seconds into La Source. Does Grey Wolf hold Jonathan up? He does a little bit, he's starting to maybe play havoc ever so slightly with Jonathan now. Does he move over on the run up towards El Rouge? That is the big question. Up towards El Rouge they come for the final time. A big flash of the lights there from Jonathan now. He's going to be getting frustrated here because he knows that SMT Maroon is coming for him at a rate of knots as they're now coming up through Radion and up down the Kemmel Straight. This is the final lap of the race and you can see there SMT Maroon now almost within a second here of Jonathan Reed. Grey Wolf still hasn't moved, he's still in the way, he's still holding Jonathan Reed up and hasn't picked up a penalty by the looks of it so far. Jonathan now trying around the outside of Lacombe and gets the job done, but now SMT Maroon is so close. Look at this, 1.1 seconds. This is the part of the track where Jonathan usually has the advantage over SMT Maroon, but crucially now he's only a second behind him as we see the back marker Grey Wolf really getting involved in the action there, just tagging the back of SMT Maroon. He's now interfered with both of the leaders there and the gap is around a second between Jonathan Reed and SMT Maroon on the final lap, but crucially SMT Maroon getting caught up in the same way that Jonathan did. The gap just over a second I would say between these two. Has SMT Maroon got anything left on this final lap to throw the kitchen sink at Jonathan? Jonathan we know is quick through this middle sector. SMT usually has no answer to him due to the higher downforce setup on Jonathan's car. We've got half a lap left to go here at Spa and I think Jonathan Reed is just going to have enough. The last lap really will come in the nick of time because SMT Maroon has been coming for Jonathan over these last few laps. They're coming in towards Stavelot for the final time and Jonathan Reed should be able to bring this one just over the line in towards the final sector. This is the part of the track where SMT Maroon's pretty quick, this high speed section of the track up through Blanchemont towards the bus stop. This will be his final opportunity to get it done. I don't know if he's got anything left in the tank. I think Jonathan Reed has just got enough of a buffer here, 1.3 in towards Blanchemont and down towards the bus stop here now. Jonathan Reed is going to be taking another win here in these GT3s on ACC on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 here at Motive Racing. Jonathan Reed has driven absolutely brilliantly throughout the course of this season. He's going to extend his championship gap over Cordeo out of the last corner and onto the start finish straight. Jonathan Reed takes the checkered flag and takes the win in the number 7 Bentley. Great driver from Jonathan Reed, held off the pressure, withstood every little bit of pressure that SMT Maroon threw at him in those final stages there. Jonathan Reed, the winner, SMT Maroon, takes a valiant second place and Mimo VIP is going to come around to take a third place, but he'll obviously be gutted with the collision that he had with Lightblade, but he gets the P3 nonetheless. What could have been from Emo VIP, to be fair. Obviously we know that he didn't ready up at the start, so had to start from the pit lane. Qualified in P2 in the qualifying session. He would have been up there fighting with Jonathan Reed and Maroon if it hadn't been for his failure to ready up at the start. I know that for certain. Mimo VIP comes over to take a P3. Querdeo P4 there, almost 5 seconds behind Mimo in 4th place. Nils Barster's going to come out of the final corner. It's going to be a P5 for him. Scuderia Paul dropped off like a stone at the end there, and it's going to come round up towards the bus stop in P6. Must have had damage on that Bentley, that number 24 there, because he was well off the pace at the end there. Lightblade we know had damage and in the end lost out to Paul, so Lightblade's going to come around to take a P7. Scuderia Paul comes over the line to take P6. There he is, finishing the race. Lightblade, so unfortunate, had major damage at the end there and lost out to Paul, unfortunately there for him as he comes up towards the line. Look at that, he's got a puncture as well as he just skids over the line to take P7. It looked like he must have picked up a puncture on that last lap. You got SD12 Dash. Oh, he's had a collision. He's had a collision there with Lord Ash Wilson. Oh no. As SD12 Dash comes out of that one to take 8th place. Lord Ash Wilson loses out there and will come over in P9. unfortunate there that they had that collision, but those two there flashed their lights as they clearly enjoyed that little scrap there at the end. Spuzz comes over will come over. He's just coming to the final few corners. He would take a 10th place in the 108 BMW. Grey Wolf, obviously, we saw crossing the line behind Jonathan Reed and SMT Maroon. He finished behind them, so he will have already finished the race. Nilsson classified in P11. Spuzz, the final man to cross the line to finish this race, in P9. And that is that then, ladies and gentlemen, your classification for round 7 of the GT3 Championship here on Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 here at Motive. Jonathan Reed taking the win, SMT Maroon, Amima VIP completing the podiums in 2nd and 3rd places. What a battle between Jonathan Reed and SMT Maroon for the win. Credeo finishing in 4th with Niels Barster completing the top 5. Scuderia Paul getting ahead of Lightblade with Lightblade's puncture at the end there, finishing in 7th place. SD12-Lord-Wilson and Spuzz completing the top 10. Grey Wolf in 11th with Nilsson 12th, then Rompu 13th, DDTKU in 14th, and Stones got disqualified a long way out for driving the wrong way. So that is that then, ladies and gentlemen. A big thank you to everybody who joined us live on the YouTube channel. Be sure to drop a like on the videos, it helps us out an enormous amount. Subscribe if you're watching us for the first time, guys. Every subscription means the world to us, and it lets us know that we're doing things right. If you want to get involved in the on-track action, then as I always say, go to www.motiveracing.com, get involved in the Discord server, and sign up to the championships that we've got on ACC, Project Cars 2, or indeed F1 as well. But from us, it's a big thank you. See you in the next one, guys. See you later.